Honking heroes in Madison are stepping up to help out after a flurry of pushback saved their geese from culling just last month. By cleaning up the goose droppings daily, they say they're called to duty. The group is made up of residents from the Edgewater subdivision shown right here, where hundreds of geese remain today on the banks of Lady Ann Lake. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo shows us what they're doing to step up.
After the Edgewater Homeowners Association ultimately decided to keep their geese around, residents around the lake formed a group to work whenever they can to clean up and manage the flock. According to volunteers with Save the Edgewater Geese, that's around-the-clock care. Organizer Jack Hollum made specialty tools and goes out every morning before work to scoop up the geese droppings. And working alone at first, he's since gathered about 17 volunteers to help him with the management. In addition to twice daily cleanings, the group agreed to look for long-term, humane solutions that they say protect both the wildlife and the neighborhood.
We're not just trying to give the board lip service. We're giving them hard data that actually will result in a great plan going forward.
That gives them a full year to help the HOA board find maintenance plans while they continue to do their part to pick up.
I really appreciate the board of directors here working with us and allowing us this time to get through this, the issues that they were concerned with the geese, and I'm really looking forward to being able for our group to prove ourselves that we were able to find a solution that did not involve killing wildlife. This lake was here long before the community was, and so was the wildlife. And we appreciate hearing them fly in and out, living along the lake where we are, and we love it, every bit of it.
And according to the volunteers, it's a critical job to keep residents and the geese happy and healthy.
I'd rather have them here, and if it takes a little effort on our part, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. It's easy. It's much more rewarding than taking an easy way out. Yeah, there is a little bit of work, a little bit of sweat, but it's a good thing in the end.
Not all stories have a happy ending, but residents at Edgewater say they don't mind a little bit of cleanup to keep their geese around for at least another year. In Madison, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
The group is active on Facebook, regularly posting updates and thanking the subdivision for seeking alternative methods to manage the goose population. We also verified whether Canada geese are actually a public health risk, which you can find on demand on the Fox 54 app. Download on your TV, watch for free. Short-term rentals are a hot topic among cities in North Alabama, including Huntsville, Decatur, and Madison, which recently enacted ordinances to regulate how they spring up inside the city limits. And now another community is taking a stance tonight. The conversation now trickling down to the town of Triana. It's a town with only 5,000 people, a couple of stoplights, and one volunteer fire department. But officials are already looking into regulations of their own. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo shows us the ordinance town officials are voting on tonight.
Are homes in your neighborhood starting to show up on Airbnb or Vrbo? What's that doing for the community around you? These are all questions the town of Triana is looking to answer as they consider an official plan for short-term rental properties within town limits. If adopted, Town Ordinance number 2026 would introduce a 9% lodging tax on stays from just one night up to 6 months long. In addition, those renting out local properties would have to secure an annual license for each unit and show that license number on all online listings. As a courtesy, rental property owners would also have to notify the neighbors and any local homeowners associations by mail, but those neighbors wouldn't be able to say no. And they'd have to meet some more safety and operational requirements to be eligible as a short-term rental. Properties would have to have a parking spot off the street for each bedroom, limit occupancy to 2 people per room, pass annual inspections, and have working fire extinguishers and smoke detectors. But there is some recourse for properties that fail to meet these guidelines. A license can be suspended or revoked if 3 valid public safety concerns happen within a year of one another, and they can't relicense for a full year afterward. Unlicensed rentals would face a $500 daily fine.
I feel like there should be some regulations, but in this day and age with housing prices being so expensive and a lot of people not want to move out of their low interest rate mortgages, they might want to rent their properties. So I don't want to over-regulate renting properties because it's a good moneymaker for a lot of people and it is their property.
If passed, the ordinance would take effect next month following its formal adoption. In Triana, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
The meeting is happening right now, and officials are expected to leave tonight with an official stance for short-term rentals moving forward. We'll have the results of today's meeting tonight on Fox 54 News at 9. A packed room of residents got the outcome they were hoping for tonight. After hearing from them more than an hour of public comments, Madison's Planning Commission voted to recommend denying a controversial rezoning request near Bob Jones High School. That request involves a vacant nearly 2-acre property at the corner of Wall-Triana Highway and Eastview Drive. Fox 54's Valentina Chalala was at tonight's meeting as residents made their case before the commission voted.
The property owner, Breland Homes, wants to rezone the land from residential to a community business district. But after hearing residents raise concerns about traffic, safety, flooding, and the lack of a specific development plan, the Planning Commission unanimously recommended the City Council deny the request. Resident Julie Grissom says the president of Breland Homes told her they don't plan to develop the site with a high-traffic business.
I heard back from Joey Stacy, who's the president. We just met on Monday. He said what they want in B2 is not a gas station. It's not, an all-night bar or convenience store, but rather they want a doctor's office, a dentist office, possibly even a cafe bakery. But for that to happen with what they want, which is a drive-through for them, it would have to be zoned as B2.
Some residents said they could support a smaller business like a doctor's office or bakery, but others said they don't want the property rezoned at all.
We feel like there's already enough other spaces, and we don't want our small town little neighborhood to be, disrupted with all of the lights and like they said, the noises and the traffic.
And the opposition didn't start tonight. Residents organized a petition against the rezoning that has now gathered 193 signatures.
We are at this point where the Planning Commission has decided not to recommend this. We have time before the City Council meeting to continue adding to that petition and add some more people to our vote.
While the Planning Commission unanimously recommended denying the request, residents say they'll keep making their case before the City Council takes the final vote. In Madison, I'm Valentina Chalala, Fox 54 News.
The Planning Commission has made its recommendation, but the final decision still rests with the Madison City Council. Council members are expected to set a public hearing date next month before taking a final vote in September. Last Friday, a former basketball player at Decatur Heritage Christian Academy suddenly passed away after suffering from a serious medical event. Noah Bowler Kyle's family says he began experiencing respiratory issues after coming home from Lee University last year, where he continued his basketball career as a forward for the Flames. Fox 54's Gabe Glassman joins us live in studio. Gabe, I hear Noah played a crucial role for his team in 2019, making history for the school. What does his loss mean to the community?
Yeah, Kenesha. The former Decatur Heritage Christian Academy standout led the Eagles to their first ever 1A state boys basketball title in 2019. Bowler Kyle earned the MVP award in the championship game and was later named the 1A Player of the Year. But I sat down with his parents this afternoon, and they tell me his impact spreads far beyond the court.
He's either with Jesus or he's here with us. And so for that, it's a win-win.
Noah Bowler Kyle's parents, Heather and Tommy Kyle, say he had been suffering from respiratory issues for months. The family recently went on a trip to Colorado. Soon after, Noah traveled to Cleveland, Tennessee to be with his friends from college. He came back home early in the morning, but something was wrong.
What we do know is that he drove to their house at 4:30 in the morning, and he called 911. Before he got there, he told them that he couldn't breathe. He made it into my parents' house, and he collapsed on their den floor.
Noah was hospitalized and later transferred to UAB, where doctors found swelling in his brain. Noah was declared dead at 6:30 p.m. Friday.
When he got comfortable in his skin because he came to know Jesus, it's all we've heard about from his friends and everyone around him. And it's what we're going to miss. It's what his brothers and sisters are going to miss.
Our children enter our home with many different backgrounds and situations, but he has bonded every one of them so sweetly. The hardest thing was making the phone calls to them, and every one of them got here. We were just able to surround his bed, play worship music, pray over him, laugh, because Noah is probably one of the funniest, most fun kids I've ever met.
Noah's second home was the court, but basketball wasn't his first love. His family tells me music had his heart.
No matter what music was playing, that was always his happy place.
His first love and his therapy will always be music, but around Orange Ball Field with there took him a long ways.
Noah's parents hope people remember him for his joy and his love for Jesus.
Noah's assignment was pretty simple. You're 6'9". People are going to look at you And you get a chance every day. You can choose to be light or darkness. You can choose to light up a world or not. And he chose to light up the world.
We want to honor him, and the best way to do that is to share his story because he was amazing.
Dozens of residents are remembering the life of a young man whose life had barely begun. Noah Bowler Kyle passed away last week after suffering from a serious medical event. Tonight, the community gathered at Sin Roads Ferry Park to support Noah's biological mother, Parthenia. They gathered for prayer, going through memories of Noah together while giving strength to his family. Vigil organizer Adriana Tapscott says they want to make sure his family, including his birth mother, are getting the support they need during this difficult time.
Just supporting to the family, to encourage them. Everyone that Noah loved him. You know, you can't say anything negative about him, but just making sure that they know that people care and that we're going to help them through this process of grief.
Well, a celebration of life for Noah is being held at the Church of the Highlands in Madison Saturday afternoon. See some big changes coming on Highway 53 in Madison County after several recent crashes, including one involving a car and an 18-wheeler that resulted in the death of a Tony man just yesterday. The Madison County Sheriff's Office says they're now ramping up enforcement on the roadway as part of an initiative to keep people safe. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo shows us why we're seeing more law enforcement out on our roads.
The Madison County Sheriff's Office and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency say they plan to have a stronger presence along Highway 53 to help prevent crashes and encourage safer driving. Officials say the goal isn't just to issue tickets, but to change people's driving habits and stop even more people from getting hurt or even killed along the entire stretch of road. One local woman describes the current conditions on the road and what she sees as distracted and unsafe driving.
You've got your safe driver, but then you also got people that speed up and down the road, that drive really unsafe, that weave in and out of traffic. I just try to go out of my way to steer clear of the intersections or treat the intersections that I know are accident prone with extra care.
Other residents say when one crash occurs, it suddenly slows down all of the traffic on the road and may lead to another wreck. That happened to Justin McEldry, who says his wreck on Highway 53 nearly caused a crash right behind him.
Someone will slow down, and then what happens is that everyone else slows down. If one person out of like 10 people in a line of cars doesn't see that, that's prone to cause a wreck. A fender bender, someone has to pull over on the side of the road. People need to be very careful and leave spacing when they're driving. It's very crowded here during rush hour, and accidents are very prone to happen here.
Along with increased patrols, law enforcement agencies are reminding you to slow down, avoid distractions, wear a seatbelt, and be courteous with everyone else on the road, with officials saying everyone has a role in improving traffic safety. In Madison County, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
The Madison County Sheriff's Office tells Fox 54 that its traffic safety unit has been and will continue to have an increased presence on Highway 53 while they make continued efforts to make the road safer. They're showing up on more roadways across the Tennessee Valley. Small cameras mounted on poles designed to read license plates. Supporters say they're helping police solve crimes faster, but some residents and privacy advocates are asking what happens to all the data they collect. Flock cameras capture a vehicle's license plate along with details like its make, model, color, and other visible features. While the cameras don't use facial recognition, the information they collect can be searched by authorized law enforcement agencies. Creator of D-Flock, Will Freeman, says that's where his concerns begin.
Huntsville specifically is on the national network, which means anyone across the entire United States who is also a Flock customer has the ability to search our cameras, and it happens several thousand times a day.
For residents, their concerns stem from the lack of choice.
You do choose to carry a phone, but at least that's a choice. You can decide, I want to put my phone away, I don't want to be tracked for whatever it's worth. You can say, I don't track my location. We don't get that opportunity with Flock, and yet we have to drive around.
Freeman's D-Flock website includes a crowdsourced map that shows the location of license plate readers across the country. Flock spokesperson Paris LaBelle says while some people have privacy concerns, the data collected by the cameras is owned entirely by the agency or customer that purchased the system.
We believe that safety and privacy must coexist. Now, the data is deleted after 30 days by default, and then that data is only accessible to authorized users within the police department or agencies that department is sharing with. with.
Huntsville police call license plate readers one of many tools officers use during investigations. In a statement to Fox 54, the department said, quote, "When time is critical, this technology can assist investigators in locating suspects, recovering stolen vehicles, and safely finding missing people," end quote. Now, as more communities across the Tennessee Valley install the cameras, the debate is shifting from whether they work to how they should be used.
In 2025, Flock supported more than 1 million criminal investigations across the country. And then in jurisdictions where Flock is deployed, an estimated 20% of all solved cases were assisted with Flock technology. We're seeing success stories like that every single day across the country. And really the impact that it's having with law enforcement to be able to make them work more effectively.
Flock says customer data is encrypted, deleted after 30 days by default, and that its platform has never been hacked. The company says it continues to add security and accountability measures as its network continues to grow. North Alabama continues to grow at a rapid pace, and with that comes big questions about how to keep people and goods moving safely and efficiently. Tonight, ALDOT asked the public to help share a transportation plan that could guide investments across the state for decades. Alabama's long-range transportation plan looks ahead to 2050, covering everything from highways and bridges to airports, rail, and transit. Fox 54's Valentina Chalala was at the meeting where officials asked residents to help set those priorities.
Whether it's a daily commute or a major highway project, ALDOT says conversations like this help keep the region up to speed. According to ALDOT, Alabama's population grew nearly 8% between 2010 and 2024. As that growth continues, so does the need to plan for the roads, bridges, and other transportation infrastructure for the future. ALDOT Communications Coordinator Seth Burkett says that's why the state updates this long-range plan every 5 years.
We have a consultant that's working on helping us put this plan together. They're going to take this information that's gathered through these public meetings. We're having one in each region of the state, and that information will then go into the shaping of this plan.
Like any big plan, there's only so much money to go around. To help show those trade-offs, attendees were each given $100 virtual dollars to spend on the transportation improvements they felt mattered most. One of the top priorities, expanding road capacity to keep up with the region's rapid growth. But David Nuttall says there's another need that often gets left behind.
I've cycled every single street in the city and a bunch of the county. So I feel I have seen every single road from the same perspective, so I can tell when things are not as good as they could be or that could be safer.
Nuttall says investing in bike and pedestrian infrastructure gives people more ways to get around while also helping reduce congestion on the roads.
You get safety by putting bike lanes, slowing cars down, giving them the ability to stop and go into a local business.
ALDOT expects to hold another public meeting on a draft version of the plan later this year, with the final statewide transportation plan expected to be completed within the next 2 years. In Huntsville, I'm Valentina Chalala, Fox 54 News.
And if you missed the meeting, don't worry. You can still submit comments and suggestions for Alabama's statewide transportation plan through the link on fox54.com. Are one of the most destructive forces that many cities come across on a nearly daily basis, but it gets even more serious when they're started on purpose. That's why the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives in Huntsville is showing prosecutors from across the country how to examine a fire to determine just how it started. Prosecutors got an inside look at what can start fires, signs of arson, and just how quickly fires can grow out of control. Experts say that's critical for investigators and attorneys to get an idea of what's going on in a case. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo gets an exclusive look at the importance of the training.
3 minutes and 30 seconds. That's how long it can take a fire to completely engulf a room with no outside accelerants. Once it's extinguished, what remains can leave investigators puzzled as to how it started. Whether it was accidental or on purpose, the ATF's arson training class shows law enforcement how to search for evidence and use it in court. What looks like an accidental fire could easily be a case of arson, but experts say that can be hard to prove because a lot of the evidence goes up in flames. That's why knowing the difference is important for both fire investigators and prosecutors in a criminal case.
If they didn't have this class to kind of go off of, then they wouldn't necessarily be in a position where they would be prepared to go to trial. and ultimately be successful, because there may be certain things that they miss.
For example, Zorn says witness statements and investigative reports can make a lot more sense when prosecutors see for themselves it's nearly impossible to escape a fire like this unscathed.
If somebody was in the structure and they made statements about what they observed or felt while they were in the compartment, those things are important, because then it gives them a little bit of a leg up on prosecuting these cases when they really have a good understanding of the terminology that's behind it.
And some of the students themselves tell me a class like this shows them how fires can start, what it looks like, and importantly, how it didn't happen.
Instead of just going in and saying this fire was caused because gasoline was poured and a match was lit, we have to also show it didn't come from the electrical, it didn't come from the space heater plugged in here, or it didn't come from some other accidental means. So it's a totally different approach going into looking at the case of, I'm not just proving things, I'm actively now in charge of disproving other theories as well.
Attendees and arson experts tell me the critical part is the first-hand experience, saying the demonstrations beat classroom instruction every single time. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.
It's a class the ATF hosts about 4 times per year with up to 40 attendees each session. ATF officials say it's one of the only places in the nation to get hands-on training like this. The city of Madison has opened a new animal control building designed to better serve both animals and the officers who care for them. Take a listen. Yeah, lots of celebration there. The city invested $645,000 into the new facility on Celtic Drive to give the Animal Control Division updated space and resources to serve the community. City officials say the new building replaces the city's previous animal control facility, which had become outdated and too small for the growing community.
Well, our current building was built in the 90s by the trustees from Limestone County Prison, and while they did a great job, we had really outgrown it, and the air conditioning wasn't great in the summer, the heating wasn't great in the winter, and now we've got a temperate climate for our animals, and most importantly, really our animal control officers, who are the heartbeat of our animal control division, and we want to provide them all the resources that they need.
Along with the new building, Robluski says the city is going to set up an Amazon wish list so the community can buy items that the shelter needs. A new development in West Huntsville is making senior living affordable and maintenance free. The Grove at Indian Creek now open to seniors 55 and older, providing residents with access to nearby shopping, healthcare, restaurants, and recreation in a neighborhood-like environment. And best of all, it's meant to be affordable for low-income residents in the height of their retirement. In addition, it limits daily maintenance like mowing the lawn and repairs like you'd need for a larger home.
I think we're seeing more and more seniors who are being priced out of their homes. And as you mentioned, it's difficult for them to take care of the day-to-day repairs, but they don't want to lose touch with their family or their church or that type of thing. And so it's really important to be able to provide them with quality, affordable rental housing where they can continue to live and enjoy their lives.
Out of a total of 48 units, 39 are still available. Leasing is open, so be sure to apply when you can if you're interested. Flock cameras are becoming more common in communities across the country. Police say they help solve crimes, but some people have questions about what happens to the data these cameras collect. So once your license plate is captured by a flock camera, how long can police keep that data? Can that information be stored forever? We verify. Flock cameras are designed to help law enforcement find missing people and investigate crimes. But as more of these cameras are installed, some people have questions about privacy. According to Flock's policy, the data it collects is deleted after 30 days by default. But once that information is in the hands of Alabama law enforcement, what happens next? Can police store Flock camera data forever? Let's verify. Our sources are the Alabama Justice Information Commission's administrative rules on license plate recognition systems and Flock spokesperson Paris Lubell. Here's what we found. Under state regulation, agencies can only use this data for a criminal justice or public safety purpose, like finding missing persons, investigating human trafficking, or locating a vehicle tied to a crime. It cannot be shared for any other reason. And according to Paris Lubell, that access is making a difference.
2025, Flock supported more than 1 million criminal investigations across the country. And then in jurisdictions where Flock is deployed, an estimated 20% of all solved cases were assisted with Flock technology.
So with all that information being collected, how long can it stay in the system? Under Alabama Administrative Rule 265X6, license plate reader data in the logs that track who accesses it can be kept for no more than 5 years before it must be destroyed or erased. The rule also requires every agency using this technology to adopt a written policy spelling out who can access the system, how operators are trained, and how data can be shared. So what happens if an agency doesn't delete the data on time? If an audit finds a department out of compliance, that agency has 90 days to fix it, or the state can cut off that agency's access to its databases until it does. But there is one exception to the 5-year cap. If footage becomes evidence in an active investigation or pending case, it can be held longer until that case is resolved. So we can verify that no, police cannot store flock camera data forever. Alabama law only allows agencies to keep it for up to 5 years unless it's tied to an active investigation. If you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692. With cyclosporiasis cases climbing nationwide and now 11 confirmed cases close to home, a lot of people are looking twice at the produce aisle. So which foods are actually safe to eat right now and which ones should you be cautious with? Let's verify. Our sources are the CDC and Dr. Karen Landers, the Chief Medical Officer for the Alabama Department of Public Health. Here's what we found. The CDC confirmed a large outbreak affecting 4 Midwestern states, with Michigan alone reporting more than 3,300 illnesses. Here in Alabama, the state's Department of Public Health has confirmed 11 cases so far, with 9 of those cases in North Alabama. While health officials have not identified a direct source connecting those cases to a specific food, Dr. Landers says the biggest concern is fresh produce that is eaten raw, especially foods with crevices where the parasite can hide.
A lot of people are avoiding at this point in time pre-bagged produce, such as pre-bagged lettuce or pre-bagged salad mixes. We really need to pay attention to vegetables that have a lot of crevices and have a lot of places that the organism can hide. Lettuce, for example, is a good organism for it. We've seen it in basil, we've seen it in cilantro, we've seen it in raspberries, snow peas, green onions.
But experts are saying this isn't a reason to avoid fresh produce altogether. The veggies are still good to eat as long as they're prepared the right way. According to health experts, cooking produce to at least 158 degrees kills the parasite entirely. But cooking isn't always an option for things like salads or fresh berries. So Dr. Landers stresses the importance of practicing good food safety habits.
Right now, food safety is the key message. Vegetables and fruits need to be washed and, of course, peeled. You want to wash this in running water. You want to remove the leaves if it's an outside, some leafy vegetables such as lettuce or something of that nature.
Although washing does help, she adds that it doesn't kill the organism entirely.
Cooking, you're going to kill them. You're going to kill the organism. Washing probably reduces the organism by 80+%.
So which foods are safe and unsafe to eat? Well, we can verify that cooked foods remain the lowest risk for cyclosporiasis, while fresh produce should be handled and prepared with extra care. You've probably heard about the push to stop changes our clocks twice a year. Lawmakers are discussing making daylight saving time permanent, meaning no more falling back. But sleep doctors say that's not the quick fix most people think it is. Could permanent daylight saving time actually be worse for your health? We verify. No more springing forward, no more falling back. Lots of people support the idea, but if that change means locking in daylight saving time permanently, sleep researchers say your body may pay for it. So can permanent daylight saving time actually be worse for your health? Let's verify. Our sources are a 2025 Stanford medicine study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, Dr. Mark Tavazzoli, a local sleep center director, and the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. Here's what we found. There's no question whether people enjoy having more daylight after work.
I like having the extra hour of sunlight in the evening.
I just feel like I'm able to do more. So I enjoy it.
I do enjoy more hours of daylight.
In a verify we did earlier this year, we found that daylight saving time actually decreases your risk of being robbed. But researchers say that when it comes to your health, the pros may not outweigh the cons. The problem comes down to one thing: morning sunlight. Under permanent daylight saving time, sunrise shifts later year-round. In North Alabama specifically, winter sunrises would be delayed until nearly 8 a.m. Dr. Mark Tavazzoli says that delayed morning light throws off your body's internal clock.
The impact will be that you're literally shifting your body's ability to stay awake longer, so you're not going to get as much sleep that night for the next day. So that sleep deprivation over time can cause issues.
He also says the mismatch between your schedule and your body's clock, sometimes called social jet lag, has been linked to more than just feeling groggy.
Inappropriate sleep affects hormonal axis, affects your mood, affects your memory, your cognitive ability to function through the day, and relationship, your work performance.
To find out which option was healthiest, Stanford researchers modeled 3 different scenarios: permanent standard time, permanent daylight saving time, and the current system of changing the clocks twice a year. Not only did they find that daylight saving time could put more strain on your body's internal clock, their models also found that permanent standard time could prevent about 900,000 more cases of obesity and prevent around 80,000 more strokes than permanent daylight saving time. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine also backs this position. The group calls for ending the clock changes altogether, but in favor of permanent standard time, not permanent daylight saving time. So we can verify that yes, research shows that permanent daylight saving time actually can be worse for your health. If you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692.
A brand new football season is on the horizon, and a true indicator of that are media days. This afternoon in Florence, the folks at the Singing River Media Group hosted their 5th annual Football in the South Media Days. And in year 5, the event took a major step forward. The first major change was location. This year's event taking place inside the brand new Lauderdale County Workforce Development Center on Highway 72 in Florence. The state-of-the-art facility provided a larger space for the event to be held. The main floor was decked out with sponsor tables, photo booth areas for players to put on their Instagram, and even a gaming corner where student athletes could play NCAA Football 27 on PS5. Josh Aycock explained why this group had to step up their game and make this experience great for all involved.
When you've got 30 teams coming in each day and some of them coming in every 10 minutes, it got kind of packed. So great location here. I'm really excited, as we've got another year behind us. We got 30 teams here, so we'll have 30 again tomorrow. So it's really been a lot of fun. We started at 10:30 and went a little bit over today. We're supposed to get over about 3:40, but ended up went a little bit over. But that's the way it was. These coaches were having a blast talking to, and really the players too. We probably had more interaction from the players this year talking, so it was really amazing.
60 teams are featured this year in the shows, and 25% of them have new head coaches. Among them are Muscle Shoals and Russellville. After building Morris Hill into a state champion powerhouse, Darryl Higgins took his coaching talents to Russellville in Class 5A. Even though he's in a new place, Coach Higgins still has the same coaching mentality.
I only know one way to do it, and that's put your best players on the field and let them compete and go play ball. You got to get in such unbelievable shape to do that you got to train in a way that allows you to go out and play at a high level. That way, whether it's first quarter or fourth quarter, they've been playing both sides of the ball, you still see the same effort and the same toughness.
And for the first time in nearly 2 decades, Muscle Shoals will have a new coach in charge. Michael Dorton is taking over for Scott Bazin, who retired this past spring. Dorton is no stranger to Muscle Shoals. He served as the OC prior to his hiring as the head coach. He looks forward to keeping up the Trojan tradition.
And Muscle Shoals is just different. I've been there, like I said, I was there 5 years, and just the way these young men go about it, and it's a standard that's been set over the past 18, 20 years. The way these guys work every day, the way they play the game on Friday night, the work they put in the weight room, and there's just a standard that they rise to, and you got to deal with things here and there, but I've been other places where it's not the same. The physical brand of football that these guys play and we play at Muscle Shoals it doesn't happen everywhere, and that was the biggest appeal to me is the community. They love it.
Now we'll see majority of these teams in action with highlights on First Down Friday night. A brand new season on Fox 54 begins on Friday, August the 21st. Once again, SWAC Football Media Day taking place in the Magic City of Birmingham, Alabama, as all 12 teams from the Southwestern Athletic Conference made their way to chat with media members about the upcoming season. Among those was Alabama A&M. The Bulldogs finished year one in the Sam Shade era with an injury-riddled 4-8 record. Despite having a subpar record, Coach Shade felt that the grind and work ethic of his players created a new mindset for the program as they enter 2026.
We felt like we did lay a foundation for this season and upcoming seasons at Alabama A&M. But, you know, one of the biggest things for us is just putting the work in each and every day. And these guys have done it. Like, I've watched these guys since January put the work in the weight room, on the field, just pretty much wherever they've been.
Returning for his final season of college ball is quarterback Cornelius Brown IV. Brown threw for over 1,000 yards and 7 TD passes in just 4 games, but he was lost for the season before the midway point of the 2025 year. Now he's back healthy and ready to help Alabama A&M compete in the East.
Coach Big John asks us how we feel every single day, and we say I feel great, and that's true because you got to speak things into existence, but I've spoken it into existence, and that's actually how I feel. You know, the ankle is great. I'm back to 100%. I'm back to running full speed, sprinting full speed, doing everything with the team with no restrictions. So physically, I've never felt better.
In the preseason rankings, Alabama A&M was selected to finish 5th in the SWAC East Division this year, just above Mississippi Valley State. If Alabama A&M can find a way to stay healthy this fall, then the Bulldogs could find a way to make things interesting in that division. I caught up with James Hadnot, the lead play-by-play broadcaster for HBCU Go, and he thinks Alabama A&M will surprise some folks in 2026.
I think for them it's just going to be another year under their belt. You think about what Coach Shea did at Miles, right? The first year wasn't very good. He's talked about it. We've talked about it, me and him together. And so just having another year under their belt, they've been able to get more guys in, the type of guys that they want in that program. And so once you get the guys that you want in the program and not necessarily kind of working what you had and not stirring the pot, then you could really build on what happened the year prior. They bring back, obviously, Quad Brown, and so for him to kind of be another kind of older player in the fold, I really like Jordan Chambers-Smith, the wide receiver. His story was fun last year that he basically told all the coaches, like, I'm going to make the team, and he made the team, and now he's in all-conference players. So to have players like that coming back allows them to kind of build on what they were able to do last year and potentially, challenge for a SWAC championship.
The Alabama State Hornets finished their 2025 campaign with their first 10-win season in 2 decades. But unlike the 2004 team, the Hornets did not win the division or the SWAC championship. But in 2026, ASU looks to change that. Eddie Robinson Jr. entering year 5 at his alma mater, and this season the Hornets mean business. They were picked as the favorite to win the SWAC East Division after receiving 131 overall votes, including 16 first-place votes. That was 9 more than Jackson State. The ASU Hornets also return Andrew Body, the SWAC's reigning Offensive Player of the Year. Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. explained how his team can claim a championship this season.
Well, I tell the guys if you don't wake up every day and think about it, then you should be in the wrong place. So every day you have to wake up thinking about it and how you can get a little bit better each day. And so that's like a big picture approach. But the biggest thing for us is go out there and have the very best first day of practice that we can, and just to try to get better every day and focus on winning the first game. You can't get way ahead of us. People are saying, hey, what about the Jackson State? I'm like, Jackson who? But like, they're so far down the line, and it's the same thing with Coach Taylor. It's like you're asking him about Alabama State, but right now they're just not on our radar. I mean, they will be at some point, but I think most coaches are looking at those first 3 games with the emphasis of trying to win 1 game.
Alabama State will kick off their 2026 campaign during Week 0 right here in the Magic City when the Hornets take on Pro Football Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk and the Southern Jaguars. It's the first ever Birmingham Classic at Legion Field. Robinson and Faulk last faced each other as pros in the NFL during Super Bowl 34. We'll talk to both guys about that contest tomorrow. And that'll wrap up your Fox 54 Sports Report at 9 p.m. I'm Mo Carter. Stay tuned. Your Fox 54 News at 10 is coming up after the break.